There is a scene in the movie The Gatekeeper where the lead actress sets fire to an antique cabinet and leaves it to burn. This was originally scripted as a pan to the fireplace. This is an old movie-making term that means you won't see it happen on screen, it is implied or replaced by something symbolic. It was very popular in olden movies, when the limitations on filmmaking were greater than today.
Put your hands on me, Jack.
I actually love panning to the fireplace. Honestly, I think it's a skill many modern film directors have lost.
I only wish I didn't love you so much.
But in this case, I told the producer I didn't want to pan to the fireplace. I wanted to show her setting fire to the cabinet. Due to limitations at the shooting location, which was a tight storeroom packed wall to wall with dry antique wood, and that the cabinet was one of the most expensive props in the movie, actually setting fire to it was out of the question. But I repeated to the producer I wanted to see it happen. So the producer replied, "Fine, if you can do it with no add cost, no extra shooting time, and at no risk to the prop, set, location and staff, do it." And that's the kind of challenge I really like. So let's go through the sequence shot by shot and see how we achieved each shot. First, we used real flames to start the fire off. This was shot on the last pickup day exterior in a parking lot. The room is dark and the foreground of the shot is almost in silhouette, with the light from the flames appearing to be the strongest light source in the room. So the light had to come from inside the cabinet. I wanted to shoot this with a 45-degree shutter to delete motion blur and give the flames sharp edges. I also did not want the flames to clip out, losing detail, and I shot this at 60 FPS to slow the flames down just enough to see their motion properly without looking too much like slow motion. To achieve all this, the light exposure in the cabinet needed to be quite strong. I stuck 2 aperture MC lights set to fire effect on the back wall of the cabinet with blue tack, so it looked like the paper was lit from inside the cabinet by the fire. The wooden base of the cabinet was removed and replaced with a barbecue grill, so the paper burnt up and fell into the metal case below, never getting too high. The reflection on her face of the fire growing in strength was achieved with an aperture infinity bar, also set to fire effect, and slowly fading in using Sidus on the phone app. This was very subtle, but must have worked well as the marketing group was inspired to copy this shot for one of the posters. The reflection of the fire in her eyes is a very good example of a pan to the fireplace shot. This replaces the need to show the fire building in intensity. My original plan for this was to use an aerial image. This is not a top shot or a drone shot as it may sound. The aerial image is a term typically used in rostrum cinematography. It is the technique of projecting an image that appears to float in mid-air by using glass. The fire element is shot against black, then played back on a very large monitor. It is reflected off the glass into the actress's eyes. The camera shoots through the glass, which does not see the fire, and it catches it reflected in the eye. When we tested this prior to shoot, I realized there was a limitation to this approach. The reflection of the light coming from the monitor was also the source of the light on her face. This ensures the flicker on her face matches that of the reflected image in her eye. However, as it is right in front of her face, it was flat, and I wanted it to be a half light. The fix was simple. We placed the monitor as if it were a key light for a half light setup. I got my half light on her face and the reflection in her eye. Often, the simplest approach is the best. The flames in the cabinet were originally also going to be an aerial image. However, after testing this, I felt the brightness of the monitor we were renting was not strong enough to light up the back wall of the cabinet sufficiently, as the claw marks on the back were established in the story and needed to be seen clearly. The flames worked well, appearing to be floating in the center of the cabinet, but the back of the cabinet had to be brighter than the monitor could illuminate. If we added lights inside, we could not sync it to the flames of the playback. So I decided to shoot the monitor directly by removing the back of the cabinet instead of the side wall and replacing it with the monitor. This worked very well, but it meant we had to shoot the back of the cabinet and composite it behind the flames prior to shoot. This would have been a perfect solution. Take the fire element against black, rotate it sideways so we could stand the monitor upright in the back of the cabinet, then key in the element of the back and speed up or slow down the flicker to match the fire. This would have been the simplest way to shoot this frame, but due to scheduling requirements of the AD, I could not shoot the back of the cabinet till the last day of shoot, so I had to shoot the fire off the monitor against black in the back of the cabinet, then shoot the back panel of the cabinet on the last day. I needed both sides, inside and the back side. This is what the back of the cabinet looked like. I used an Aperture 300 with a long softbox modifier set to fire effect and keyed it into the black areas of the monitor. In the finished movie, we saw her setting fire to the cabinet with no extra shoot time, no danger to the prop, location or staff, and most importantly for the producer, no extra cost. I hope this film has been useful to you.